Despite Max Verstappen's impressive record of winning half of the 14 races so far this season, victory has been claimed by 7 different drivers across 4 teams. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner is finally admitting that he has lost control. With yet another key figure leaving the team, coupled with Jos Verstappen reportedly looking for a new home for his son, it's murky waters for Red Bull coming into the summer break. Horner is adamant that the next year and a half will see an intense battle among the top 4 F1 teams before a major rule overhaul reshuffles the deck. This is a dramatic shift from last year, when just 3 drivers secured wins, with Carlos Sainz being the only non-Red Bull driver to stand atop the podium. Red Bull's dominance has come to an end, placing immense pressure on Verstappen to push his limits and safeguard his championship lead. Horner sees the tight competition among the leading teams as a major boost for F1, but is worried that this dynamic will shift with the new regulations in 2026. He shared his thoughts with the media. It's great for the sport. It's almost inevitable that when you get consistency of regulations, you always get convergence, if you look through the history of Formula One. I remember when I first came into Formula One, Ron Dennis banging that drum back in 2005. He had the best car at that time, but convergence has always brought the teams together. Of course, we've got a big regulation change in 2026, which will cause divergence, but between now and then, I think it's going to be, for the next 18 months, flat out between the 4 teams. The 2026 season will usher in new power unit regulations, poised to once again shuffle the order in Formula One. Amid the current unpredictability, there have been calls to extend the existing regulations beyond next season. But Horner insists that the introduction of the new rules is necessary and well-timed. You can never stand still. They've made the change for reasons they feel are relevant. The sport has to keep evolving. The whole team is still working flat out on this car, because with stable regulations, whatever we learn now is relevant to next year anyway. If you reflect on the first part of the year now, we are over half distance. We've won 7 Grands Prix, we've won 2 or 3 sprint races. We're leading both championships, but over recent weeks, that constructors' lead has diminished somewhat, and that's where our focus is. A big reason why Red Bull finds their iron grip on the grid slipping is Sergio Perez's slump. Recent Grand Prix weekends have been a tough challenge for Checo. Despite the decision to keep the Mexican driver on for the remainder of the season, promising results have been elusive, with his best showing being a P3 in qualifying at Spa. Perez has opened up about the difficulties he's facing, explaining that the current feel of his car is giving him a hard time. He said, "It's definitely been pickier and harder. At the moment, we feel like there has been something that we have introduced in a few of the weekends, that whether it's with an upgrade or with setup or with the tyres, these cars are so sensitive that has made this window a lot smaller. But like I said, there will be teams that will be in a similar situation to us. There are teams that have been in this situation, but Red Bull is obviously a lot more noticeable. But it's okay. I think the focus is over there. I've tried that change in the sim. It felt positive. It helped my feeling with the car. So I really hope that it translates well to the track, and we'll see." Earlier this week, Red Bull reaffirmed their commitment to Sergio Perez, confirming that he will retain his seat beyond the summer break, but the pressure continues to mount. Former F1 Grand Prix winner Johnny Herbert is the latest to voice criticism, labelling Perez as damaged goods and suggesting that the driver appears mentally broken on the grid. He said, "Sergio Perez was the worst performing driver at the weekend in Belgium again. It is horrible to say, but it is like he is damaged goods at the moment. He is a broken man mentally. There will normally be a performance clause within any contract, and that could allow Red Bull to terminate Perez's contract because his performances have not been good enough for the last couple of years. The pressure on Max is huge. The Red Bull dominance of old has gone. That is not happening anymore. It's all on his shoulders. You need 2 drivers to get as many points as you can if you are not going to win a race as Max has been doing for the past couple of seasons." Max Verstappen made his intentions crystal clear just before the Austrian Grand Prix. He's sticking with Red Bull Racing for 2025, but as the weeks have rolled on, whispers of doubt have resurfaced. With Red Bull struggling to maintain its edge and Mercedes gaining momentum, could Verstappen really be considering a move away from the team? The latest talk around the paddock suggests that Verstappen might indeed be preparing to exit Red Bull after all. Johnny Herbert has been closely observing the situation. McLaren is surging ahead with impressive performances. Mercedes is clawing its way out of a huge slump, while Red Bull Racing appears to be caught in an internal struggle. According to the three-time Grand Prix winner, this could spell trouble for the Verstappen family. He suggests that both Max and his father Jos are now shopping around for opportunities with other teams. Why? Because he's losing respect for Red Bull. Herbert said, "It's quite a turnaround from a situation where they had dominated all season to now struggling to get on the podium. There is only one place really, and that is Mercedes. Toto Wolff is desperate to get Max on the books. The stars are aligning for a move there. Max sounds like a driver who is starting to lose respect for Red Bull. He is making a few mistakes. The car is not performing like it was. His frustrations come out for the world to hear. I like drivers who show passion." It is a pressure, though, he can carry going forward. That is what the best in sport can do, deploy a winning mentality. Despite his public advances getting public rejections time and time again, Toto Wolff isn't backing down on poaching Max Verstappen. He's made it clear that he's prepared to bide his time in hopes of luring the Dutchman to Mercedes. Meanwhile, Jacques Villeneuve hints that there might be deeper motivations behind Wolff's relentless pursuit to poach Verstappen from the Austrian team. The difference between this year and the last for Red Bull Racing is striking. Just a year ago, the team enjoyed an unprecedentedly dominant season in F1 history. But even before this season began, signs of internal unrest were evident, and recently the RB20's performance has faltered. Jacques Villeneuve is now scrutinising whether Red Bull remains the best environment for the three-time world champion. The 1997 world champion commented, "It depends on what becomes available for Max Verstappen. There is no space at McLaren. Would he be treated any better at Mercedes, and would he take George Russell or Kimi Antonelli's seat? Both Russell and Antonelli are Mercedes products and have been heavily invested in. Mercedes would probably want to sign Verstappen just to rob their big rivals Red Bull of their star driver. There is no good team for Verstappen to go to right now, but in the long term, we'll have to see. He's been in the Red Bull bubble his whole career, and it won't be easy to recreate that comfortable atmosphere at another team. What do you think? Should we prepare ourselves for a wildly different Red Bull by summer break's end? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the hottest F1 news.